In the small village of Ravenwood, there was a legend of a dollmaker who created the most beautiful dolls in the world. People came from all over to buy his dolls, which were so lifelike that they seemed to have a soul of their own. The dollmaker was a recluse, and no one knew anything about his personal life or family. One day the dollmaker died, leaving behind a daughter who had been kept hidden from the world. She inherited her father's talent for making dolls and continued his legacy, making the most beautiful dolls in the world. However, the villagers soon realized that there was something strange about the dolls. They would move on their own, and people would hear whispers coming from them. The dollmaker's daughter lived alone in her father's house, surrounded by her dolls. She rarely left the house and refused to speak to anyone. It was said that she had made a pact with the devil to give her dolls life. One day a young couple moved into the village, and the woman was fascinated by the dolls. She begged the dollmaker's daughter to teach her how to make them. The dollmaker's daughter agreed but warned the woman never to leave her alone in the house with the dolls. The woman started making dolls, and soon she became obsessed with them. She stopped eating and sleeping, spending all her time making dolls. Her husband became worried and decided to surprise her by bringing their young daughter to see her. However, when they arrived at the dollmaker's house, they found that the door was locked from the inside. Desperate to see his wife, the husband broke down the door, only to find that the dollmaker's daughter had killed his wife and turned her into a doll. The daughter had also turned their daughter into a doll, and the husband was left alone in the house with the haunted dolls. The husband, traumatized by what he had witnessed, never spoke of the incident again. He left the village and moved far away, trying to forget the horrors he had experienced in the dollmaker's house. Years later, a group of teenagers dared each other to spend the night in the abandoned dollmaker's house. They broke in and found the dolls still sitting in their places, their eyes seeming to follow them around the room. Suddenly, they heard footsteps coming from upstairs. They crept up the stairs, and as they reached the top, they saw the dollmaker's daughter standing at the end of the hallway. Her eyes were black as coal, and she was holding a doll in her arms. The teenagers tried to run, but the doors and windows were all locked. The dollmaker's daughter approached them, and they could hear the whispers of the dolls growing louder and louder. She handed them each a doll and told them to take it with them when they left the house. The teenagers were terrified and tried to refuse, but the dollmaker's daughter was insistent. As they left the house, they realized that the dolls they were holding were exact replicas of themselves. They could hear the whispers of the dolls following them as they walked down the street. One by one, the teenagers disappeared, and no one ever saw them again. The dollmaker's daughter is said to still haunt the village of Ravenwood, creating her dolls and waiting for unsuspecting visitors to enter her house. Her dolls are said to have a life of their own and have been known to move on their own and whisper to those around them. The legend of the dollmaker's daughter lives on, and many still believe that she made a pact with the devil to bring her dolls to life.